Hey, this is Tim Pierce. For you guys near the beginning, I'm going to show you a simple strum on this song. And then for you more advanced players, I'm going to show you the John Mayer style kind of R&B soul lick. It's the kind of stuff I do in sessions all the time. If you click the link below, there's a more comprehensive beginner strum video and some other private videos, some videos on soloing. Thanks so much for your support, for your comments. Let's get started. Hey, the first part of this video is for people near the beginning, and it's just the simple strum of the song. We're doing it in the key of F, and we're playing it as if we're in the key of E. Everything's open, but we use a capo on the first fret, and just make sure it's firm enough to mash down the strings, and you get a nice open sound like that. If you don't own a capo, you can actually do this song a half step down. Everything applies. Just pretend that the nut is your capo. It just won't be in the exact key of the song. The nice thing about the capo is you're able to play along with the actual song because it's in the key of F. So we're going to strike, we're going to form an E chord, which is actually an F chord because this is an F note and we have the capo on the first fret. And we form that, as you probably know, index finger, third string, second fret, third finger, fourth string, third fret, and second finger, fifth string, third fret. Finger that, form that chord, and strike it once. And then we do a percussion thing with our right hand, and it's pretty interesting. Once again, as with most strumming, the hand just keeps moving like this, and we make choices of when to grab air and when to grab the actual sound of the strings. And this is no exception. So instead of going, we're going to leave one stroke out. So I'm going to go really slow. And the way that works is, instead of going, we're leaving one downstroke out. Really slowly. And then we do this other phrase where we grab the E chord again and we hit it twice. And then we go to the A chord, same position, and I think I'll use my third finger to bar across to grab it, because you see the third finger is already sitting right there on that note, and we can keep an anchor going right there on the fourth string, third fret. I would just lay down that third finger in a bar. Might hurt a little bit if you're not too advanced. And you want to get all three of these strings to sound straight across. So it's the third fret, and it's the second, third, and fourth string. This high E string, if you can make it ring, fine. If not, just let it mute itself with the flesh from this finger. So strike the E twice, strike the F twice, because we're kind of tricking ourselves. We're pretending we're playing E and A, but we're really playing F and B flat. You don't have to remember that right now. So two strikes on the F chord, one strike on the B flat chord, and then we move this same chord up 2 frets and we grab with our index finger, because we moved up 2 frets on the second, third, and fourth string up to the 5th fret, we have to grab with our index finger the low note, and that's now string 5, fret 3. We grab that chord, hit it twice, and walk back down and hit that chord again. So this series. And I keep my hand moving like a clock, up and down. And you see, that time I got a couple of funny little overtones that weren't so desirable. Let's try that again. So if you can work that up to speed, you end up with... I'll try it again at kind of medium speed. And that's the verse. Now the key to getting this strum right in the verse is there are a couple of crucial kind of upstrokes. So what I'm doing is striking the guitar, and then I'm grabbing air. You know, so I'm going. So this is a way to learn a nice strum pattern. So watch which strokes hit the guitar and which strokes just fly through the air. So my hand is moving constantly. My hand doesn't stop doing this, but I'm choosing when to strike the guitar. Down, 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 up, 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 down, down. And there's a space between a lot of these. Down, space, down, space, down, space, down, space, up, up. Something like that. So it's kind of some downstrokes with spaces in between. And then you switch to upstrokes with spaces in between. Let's try it one more time. So a good way to try and get it is to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 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 5, 6. It's a good way. Up to speed. So just keep this going and make your choices. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gotta change chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 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 6. So now we're going to learn the chorus, and it has a very similar strum to it. The chords are very, very simple. Take your third finger, 4th fret, 5th string. Take your second finger, 3rd fret, 4th string. Play this nice, beautiful open major 7th chord. And then you're going to switch these fingers around to get the next chord like this. So it's a bit of a switch. So you go from here, and then you plant your second finger, 5th string, 3rd fret, and your third finger, 3rd string, 3rd fret. So both on the same fret. You go from here, and then you stay here again, and then you play the E chord that we just learned, which is actually an F chord because we're in the key of F, but it's the E shape, the open E shape. So I'll strum really slowly. Go real slow and just check out what I'm striking and what I'm not striking. 1, 2, da ga, up, 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 ga da ga, down, down, da ga, up, 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 ga da ga, down, 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 up, 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 ga da ga, down, 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 up, up, up. And the cool thing about the left hand is you can actually buy some time by cheating a little bit and leaving a space in between where you just strike the guitar open like that. Check it out. I'm going. And that gives me time to switch chords. I mean, the true and proper way to do it that the great guitar players do, and I'm still working on this. Here there was no gap, but you can leave a gap if you're at the beginning and it's easier for you. It gives you a little bit of a chance to change chords. Get it up to speed. One more time, really slow.
So here's this John Mayer style rhythm part that I'm playing. To me, it's a Jimi Hendrix part because that's the era that I come from, but a lot of you guys might recognize it as more John Mayer. I'm on the 13th fret. I'm sliding up with my third finger on the top two strings. And then I slide down to the 11th fret where we're dancing above and below the 12th fret, as you can see. And I strike it once, slide down 2 frets and strike and come back up. And then I go to the next 2 strings, a little different position. Index finger, 10th fret, 3rd string. Third finger, 11th fret, 2nd string. And I slide that up 2 frets also. So the actual destination is here with the index finger on the 12th fret and the third finger on the 13th fret, but we start 2 frets lower. So slowly. And you're depending on your left hand to sustain everything. So you need to press down hard enough that all the notes ring, but not so hard that you cramp your finger. And we're kind of in the key of F minor right now. And in a second we're going to switch to F major, which is the cool thing about this chord change in this part. And I'm going to jump down the octave with my index finger. I'm going to go from fret 8 to fret 10 and repeat this first kind of thing an octave lower. And what that is index finger mashed across strings 4 and 5, the 8th fret, and then we drag it up 2 frets to the 10th fret. So here's everything so far. See, we're mimicking the first phrase down here on these strings. And you want to try and not make any, you want to have none of the other strings ringing down here. It's a little harder. So all that was kind of in the key of F minor. We're planted right here, and we're going to go into the key of F major because that's where the chord lands. The great thing about this progression is that it's in a minor key and then in a major key, and that's what makes it interesting. So that's the next phrase we're going to do. So we've slid up here. Our index finger is in exactly the right place. So the start of this is fret 10, strings 4 and 5. And we just hammer on with our third finger up 2 frets. Same strings, strings 4 and 5, but up to the 12th fret. And then we do this whole thing just 2 strings over. So that's pretty easy. And the hard thing is just to get 2 strings only, because we're mashing down, but we want to try and only get the two strings we're aiming for, which is strings 4 and 5, and then strings 3 and 4. And then we jump back, start again there, and finish out the phrase that way. So the last piece of this phrase, our hand is in the same position. We use the third finger on the 4th and 5th strings, 12th fret, and then we jump over where we already were, 10th fret, strings 3 and 4, and then third finger up 2 frets, back over to here. It's like kind of a seesaw thing. So the whole phrase and the entire series. So here I hit a string I didn't want to hit. It's hard to do. Then I end the phrase with this, which is kind of a blues pentatonic thing. It toughens up the. This is kind of a sweet thing, and so this adds some toughness to the end of it. What this is index finger on the 10th fret, 4th string, hammer on 4 frets up, then jump over to the next string, 10th fret, 3rd string, and then toggle over to the 4th string again, and then up here with the third finger on the 13th fret, 3rd string, strike it and pull down. Back to our kind of anchor note, which is the F note, 10th fret, 3rd string. So that phrase is, and that adds a little bit of blues kind of toughness to the end of this very sweet series. I'll do the whole thing. And you want to do it in tempo, so I'm going to do it kind of slow, but in tempo. 3, 4. and then I'm off to the races with the solo. But I think what I did, which you can try too, is I was using these two fingers, which gives it kind of a warm sound. So try experimenting with that if you want. I just picked everything, but you can use these two fingers to pull it. You probably heard the wife walked in. I had to take a break. Now let's get back to it. I was explaining how the second and third finger of the right hand can be used to get kind of a mellow tone instead of the pick. And what I do in a situation like this is I kind of cup the pick in my index finger so I can kind of go back and forth from the pick to the fingers. Players have lots of different ways of doing it. Sometimes they put it between fingers. You'll see lots of different ways of holding onto the pick when you transfer to the fingers. But it's nice. It's kind of a jazzy tone. So have fun with it.